Howdy folks, Kathy Williams-DeVries here, bringing you the 10th lesson in my series on lessons for beginners. If you've gotten this far, you've done extremely well. We've learnt quite a lot of stuff. We can play all the way from low G up to high B flat. We learnt that there's B flats and B naturals, and also there's F naturals and F sharps. And stuff like key signatures, accidentals, first and second time bars, all that sort of thing. So let's just revise. It's me, O Lord. In this piece, andante means a slow walking pace. We've got an anacrusis or upbeat of one beat. We've got a first time bar and a second time bar. We've got a key signature with an F sharp in it, although there actually aren't any Fs in this piece, so it doesn't really matter. But it's the key of G because it has an F sharp, and also because it finishes on a G. So let's play this through a couple of times. This is revising from the last lesson, and then we'll go on. Talked a bit about breathing too. All right, so breathing, we breathe through the sides of the mouth, and I say ho. It allows a lot more air to get in quickly. We breathe down here, we don't breathe up here. And we breathe when it makes musical sense. Right, now, our first piece off the rank today, A Shade of Blue. It's a nice little jazzy piece, very, very nice. But this is the first time we have to cope with B naturals and B flats in the one piece. Now, we've got an F sharp in the key signature. There aren't any F sharps in the piece. So that's cool. But where it's not signed, it's a B natural. If it's got a flat in front of it, it's a B flat. So remember, B natural, second finger, B flat, first finger. Because the things with sharps and flats, a sharp will raise the note by a semitone. So an F will become an F sharp. Now, if you flatten a note, a B natural becomes a B flat. So you could actually quite happily do Jaws, couldn't you? That's what you call it, semitone. I call it the Jaws interval. We have little tunes we can sing to ourselves about intervals, but obviously we'll come to that. Now this piece, A Shade of Blue, is in the key of G because there's an F sharp in the key signature and it ends on a G. Doesn't have to end on a G, but if it's got an F sharp in the key signature and it ends on a G, it's probably G major. So let's loop this a few times. This is a really cool piece. I love this piece. Means very smoothly. pretty cool, isn't it? And your legato means very smoothly. It means that you don't play it jagged or short. You certainly wouldn't play it staccato. Right, it's time for us to learn a new note. Now you'll see there are these sort of 4 keys down here that we haven't dealt with yet. We want this one, so it's the top key but the second one down, because there's lower keys, there's upper keys and lower keys. We want the upper key but the second one, so that's actually a lot easier to get because you don't have to actually put your finger on a hole, therefore there's no chance that you're not covering a hole, because there isn't one. Right, now we've got another key signature. We've got 2 flats in it, B flat and E flat. There aren't any E flats in the piece, but there certainly are B flats. So every B in this piece is a B flat, unless there's a natural, and there's no naturals. Let's play this a couple of times. Let's try that again. And notice that I breathed sort of either after 4 bars or 6 bars. It would be good if you could go the whole 4 bars without having to breathe. Hopefully through these lessons we'll gradually build up your stamina. Okay, so now we've got something called a quaver or an 8th note. Music's very, very mathematical, so that if you stick a stick on it, or fill it in, or add a tail or a bar to it, you are halving the note. So a whole note or a semibreve becomes a minim or a half note if you put a stick on it. If you fill in the little hole, the minim becomes a crotchet or a quarter note. You stick a bar or a tail on it, you get a quaver or an 8th note. You stick another bar on it and you get a 16th note or a semiquaver. And there's stuff like demi-semiquavers, which have got 3 bars on it, and hemi-demi-semiquavers, which have 4 bars on it. But with rhythm, a quaver is exactly half a crotchet. So you fit 2 quavers evenly into a crotchet. So if you think ta, ta, ti, 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 ta, ta, ti, ti, ti. So, okay, so it's even. It's not. That's another different rhythm. So in this piece, we're going ti 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 ta rest rest ti 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 ta rest rest. I'm going to take this a little slower because there's a lot of difficult tonguing here. So how are we going with our tonguing? Da 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 da. We'll take it a little bit slower. And you should know this if you're happy and you know it. there's quite a little bit of tonguing in there, isn't there? Tonguing is also another thing that you'll get better stamina on the more you practice it. Okay, this new piece, rather than having flats in this key signature, we have sharps instead. We have two notes, F sharp and C sharp. And it finishes on a D. We're in D major. So every F and C in this piece is a sharp, unless there's a natural sign or a flat in front of it. We've got staccato again, and we've also got quavers and quaver rests. So a quaver rest looks like a funny sort of 7. But interesting is that a staccato crotchet is exactly the same as a quaver and quaver rest, because a staccato halves the value of the note. I mean, you still play a full crotchet beat, but you only play for half of it. Exactly the same as it was a crotchet and crotchet rest. In this piece, we're also going between A and D. You want to practice that, so just rolling to that A, and also A to F sharp, which we've covered before. All right. We've also got a term called conspirato. What that means is very spirited. This is my dreidel. You should know the piece. I'll loop it and we'll play it a couple of times. Dreidel, 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 I made you out of clay. Whatever. Staccato F sharp sounded the same as the quaver. Isn't it? Playing some really fun pieces in this book. Now, remember when I talked to you about upbeat or anacrusis before, but usually because there was only just like one note upbeat before the piece started. In this particular piece, you've got 3 beats before the first bar starts, and at the end you've only got 1 beat to make up for it, because remember, if you have whatever you have at the beginning, you rob from the end. But we all know when the Saints go marching in. We've got 1 B flat in this key signature. We've also got ties. So in the second bar, we've got a semi-breve C tied on to a crotchet. So that's worth 5 beats. In the second line, we've got a dotted minim tied to a crotchet, so that's 3 beats plus 1, that's 4 beats, but it sort of goes over the bar because there were already 4 beats in the bar, so we had to stick it into the next bar. So let's loop this and play this a couple of times. they'll know when the Saints go marching in. Okay, this piece, we've got B flats in there. They've got E flats in there as well, but there aren't any E's in the piece. Just practice going from B flat to G. So remember to take all the fingers off for the G and don't leave your finger hanging around the F thumb hole. Okay, right, we've got a new concept. Andante is at a moderate walking pace, at a slow walking pace. 3/4 is waltz time. We looked at it before. Think sort of a waltz, or even your national anthem. Or in England. And of course the most famous piece of all in 3/4 time. But I found that in the past my students have had trouble with 3/4 time because you don't hear a lot of it in modern music. You're so used to going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 that you're not used to this 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It's got kind of a rocking motion, and it's I've noticed that a lot of my students have tried to turn it into 4/4 simply because they're not used to. But you've got to count 1, 2, 3, 1. Oh, excuse me. Right, we also got a new concept in this piece. We've got a couple of dynamics. Don't worry about those. Just play a really solid sound. I don't care about your dynamics right now. We want a good sound, and then we'll look at different gradations of that sound. We've got slurs, which means that we tongue the first note of the slur and then nothing till the next note that's not in a slur. Now we've got another thing. You'll see this at the end of the first line called fine, and at the end of the second line, DCL fine. It's actually pronounced fine, and it means end. So fine means end. DCL fine is short for da capo al fine. What happens is da capo means you go back to the beginning. Fine means end. So what happens is that you play the first line, then you go on to the second line. At the end of the second line, DCL fine da capo, go back to the beginning, and then play until you hit the fine. In the next lesson, we're going to look at da segno al fine, but it's just a slightly different version of a repeat, and we'd call the form sort of ternary form because you play theme A, then you play theme B, and then you play theme A again. So this one is Fa de Do. We'll loop it and play it a couple of times. quite long enough as it is. Right, the final piece we're going to do today, something funny happens with the key signature, because at the beginning you've got B flat and E flat. Then at the end of the first line you've got two natural signs, and then in the second line there's no sharps or flats in the key signature. This is what we call a key change. And it does happen in music. It happens more than you realise. A lot of your famous pop songs have key changes in there. We also call them modulations. So what happens is the top line of this piece, Cindy in Two Keys, has two flats, B flat and E flat. So you play all the Bs as B flats. Then at the end of the first line, those B flats get naturalised so that there are no sharps or flats whatsoever. So what was an E flat in the first line is an E natural in the second line. And there aren't any B naturals in the second line. Let's loop this and play this a couple of times to get you used to it. And then we'll leave the lesson there. A tone higher. So that's enough for today. If you've got to the end of 10 lessons with me, you've done very, very well. We've learned heaps of stuff. In the next lesson we learn low E, which is the lowest note of the instrument. We also look at dal segno al fine, and heaps of other good stuff. So if you have any further questions, leave a message on the contact form of either of my websites, or email me on any of my 3 or 4 email addresses. Leave a message or a comment on both of my YouTube channels. Skype me, Twitter me, Facebook me. I am here to help you guys. So, I hope that you found this video and the previous 9 videos helpful. I will basically keep going through the Premier Performance Book 1 until the end, and then I'll work on, I don't know, the Premier Performance Book 2. But I'm catering for the beginner. We've got heaps of stuff to look forward to. Refer to my videos on breathing and staccato and all that. I've got dedicated videos for that as well. They're probably sort of geared towards sort of the upper intermediate. Anyway, I hope you found this video helpful. I certainly enjoy bringing them to you. Thanks for listening. Bye for now.